Welcome everybody back here to our last day of the qualifiers for the CSGO Championship Series. I'm Toby1, joined by Sadakist, as we are here to bring you our final day for this part. There's more to come.
It's been a good qualifier, too. We've seen, I mean, from the very start of it, with the flip side comeback on Mirage, the Cobble game they had, it all started off on the right note.
Yep.
We've been there pretty much the whole way. There was a few lackluster performances last night. But
so some things became a little bit predictable and some things came a little bit face-palmy.
Yeah,
but you can only foul fish so much.
Right. But now we're down to the final two, and we're going to figure out who's going to be the last team to join into the position for the league. Of course, we've got our 7 teams selected. It's either going to be AliGon or Penta.
Let's actually just have a look back at what's been happening too. So obviously we weren't casting the first rounds of this. We kicked in from the semi-finals where AliGon was capable of bringing down Dignitas. This was our series last night where we were questioning exactly who was meant to take this, and AliGon, they did come out on top.
And it came out on the fact that Delpan was absolutely nuts on Inferno. If he wasn't playing the way that he was, there's no way that they would have made it through past Dignitas. That was just absolutely insane.
At the same time, we were talking about that, and I think we were both in agreement that Delpan, yes, he played a fantastic time, but at the same time, he was never really counted. He was given the space to be awesome. And obviously, when you do something like that, you have a mass fragger, and you just can't slow him down.
And I mean, it's going to come down to that again tonight. How well can Delpan play? How hard can he carry? Kaboom for them had one good matchup. Actually, it was on Cash, which we are going to see tonight. We'll take a look at the maps in a second. And I mean, he was actually surpassed Delpan's performance in that particular map. But Penta right now, you have to say, has the upper hand. So we'll take a look at our teams, take a look at our rosters on who we're going to see.
Well, it'll be good to start here with AliGon. So last night, of course, the man of the moment was, of course, Delpan, almost single-handedly carrying his team to victory. But Hagen also had some really good plays as well. He was locking them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's your in-game leader, too, so he's the guy making the calls for them. And like I said, I mean, Xylos had a few plays. Cobra was a little bit quiet, but overall, not a bad performance. But again, Delpan, the guy in the middle, he was the man that was absolutely unstoppable. You can see why NIP considered him. We'll see how he plays into it. The map pool tonight, we'll look at it in a second, may not have quite that same carry potential that Inferno did. They're going up against Penta, though. There's our German squad.
It's really been amazing how well Dennis played last night. For me, I think the greatest thing about Penta in their series last night was the fact that they were able to move wherever the hell they really wanted to. Dennis playing in Dust 2 at the double doors in mid, he was able just to pepper down any kind of aggression, and it was Penta who had map control the whole time. And that's something which, if they can achieve tonight, the Germans will be just rolling over the Swedes tonight.
Yeah, and it was their CT side that, I mean, sure, Copenhagen Wolves against them didn't really put up much of a fight, but they, like you said, map control, Dennis aggressive up. Troubley, I've been told, actually is in-game leading. I wasn't sure if he was going to jump straight into that role with them where he is newer to the roster, but apparently he's done it, so he's already making good progress with his new teammates. Here's our map pool, and pretty obvious they banned out the 2 maps, the newer maps, and then we play all the rest.
Yeah, no one wants to really try and play Overpass. We've had only one map of Overpass in this entire qualifier, and it was one team knew what they were doing, the other team was, Cobblestone taken out, but we'll start with Cash. We'll then go into Dust 2, which is Penta's choice, and then Inferno plus, well, we actually just lost the maps right there. It's Inferno, then to Nuke, if required, for the 4th map, and our last map is Mirage, we'll end on if required.
And the good news is AliGon picked up the 2 maps they got wins on last night, Cash and Inferno. But again, Inferno comes down to how well Delpan can play. Otherwise, I have to say Dust does favor the Penta squad. Cash, I still think Penta's got it. So if Inferno can go their way, I'm going to go for the prediction of 4 for Penta.
Yep.
Otherwise, it could be a 3 straight. We'll see how awake AliGon is at the start of this.
If they open up with a Cash victory, we could be looking at everything turning around. Like, okay, I think we're both in agreement. Cash and Dust 2, the map should belong to Penta. They have performed well on them already. As you were saying before, Inferno is AliGon's most familiar map. It's the map they've had the biggest success on last night. So as far as who's going to win this, if you can have Cash go to AliGon, then I think we have a whole different kettle of fish. We could have even a 3-1, a 3-2 result coming out, and it could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, if they get Cash and Inferno, sure, then Nuke, whoever starts CT side, I'm glad Nuke's last for that regard, because that map is still too one-sided to be early in the pool.
Yeah,
so, I mean, there's where a knife... Oh, it's 4th? It's Mirage 5th. I apologize. I had those backwards. Okay, so if we go to Nuke... Yeah, okay. We could end up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Mirage, these two teams, again, it comes down to execution. How they play on Cash will indicate to me how they're going to play on Mirage. We didn't see from either team last night, Mirage, so we didn't get a full chance to give a full overview of how they're going to play it. But again, if they can pick up Cash, if they get Inferno, they start CT, maybe we will see an upset, but it's all going to be Delpan. I still think it's far too unlikely that he can carry that hard again.
If he does, then we can all be fans of Delphan or Delpan. Either way, we can rename him.
We can be Dolphins.
We could be Dolphins.
We can be Dolphins.
Isn't Delphin actually a brand of something?
No, Dolphin the fish.
Dolphin,
like in the sea. We'll be Dolphin. Never mind.
That joke's too intelligent for a dolphin.
All right, okay. Dolphins are very smart animals.
I know, and I was going for sarcasm.
Okay.
I mustn't have lacked it on hard enough.
We've lost each other entirely here. We are gone.
The humor tonight will be brought to you by this cup on my desk, which seems to be funnier than we are. Either way. All right, so we're going to get into the game in just a moment for Nice, but while we do have a moment, we are doing double giveaways this evening. So if you want to have a chance to win some awesome stuff, we did have Twitch chat basically go kaput on us last night. So we didn't get to give away the AWP skin, unfortunately, but it will be going out tonight. Double giveaway, as well as adding towards the prize pool for all subscribers. The M4A1S, it is the, how do you pronounce this? It's...
The Cyrex?
The Cyrex. The Cyrex factory new skin for the M4A1S. If you want to have a chance to win this, you have to be subscribed to the channel. And if you do subscribe to the channel, you use the wonderful Twitch system, which is now helping you guys at Twitch support the tournaments that you love to watch. And all you got to do is just subscribe, and half of your money will go directly into the prize pool, which goes 100% to the players. That's all you have to do. You can make CSGO events even bigger. And a huge shout out to Twitch as well for making that available now for CSGO.
Yeah, definitely, and I want to see some one-on-ones at DreamHack Bucharest. So
yeah, that's true. It's the stretch goals we get. So what's our prize pool when we reach it?
125,000. When we hit that, we get one-on-ones at DreamHack Bucharest.
And if we hit 150,000, we get the show match, the all match.
And both of those will be selected by the community. You get to pick who you want to see in those one-on-ones.
You can even pick casters. So if you want to make the casters look like absolute dicks,
Kiss first get right. Bring it on, Chris.
Potentially, yes, you could choose that. You're going to get nailed.
Oh, I won't even. He'll knife me, and I'll be spraying away with an AK and not even do damage to him.
You could. We haven't revealed the panel for the main event. You could have a choice to choose one of the panel, maybe.
That's true. That's actually very true.
If you want to see if an analyst is able to back up what he says with actual play, challenge could be accepted by one of them.
Well,
I don't know actually if we have the ability to say no.
You're gonna try to?
No, I don't want.
You can try. Okay, we're being told out here. You can try.
I don't want to try. I'm not bad at CS, but at the same time, whenever you put your abilities on display next to a professional player, like it's putting a diamond next to a turd.
It's rather Okay, that's even further. I was gonna say it's rather humbling. I think that's a little more than humbling.
Sun in front of the moon. Unless you can have it a day when you can eclipse.
Oh, crickets.
Hey!
So all 10 all 10 are in.
It's not that bad.
It wasn't great.
Right. I was relying on this cup to actually give me my jokes, and obviously they were the best it had. If we can't get good jokes out of this cup, then I'm done.
Oh, man. So AliGon's in, and they've changed up their names a little bit, but again, it's still going to be Xylos and Cobra. Don't be confused as we were when we first saw them join in. Delphan on this map is actually... Oh, you got me saying it now, Delphan. Delphan on this map has a chance to actually work his AWP. The question is, Cobra was picking it up secondary last night. They can do that on CT side. They can't really do it T side here. It may favor them in some aspects. And if that's the case, if they get that double op setup going, we're going to get into the knife round. Watch for Penta to respond with taking over B and trying to contend those vents toward mid to open up that site. But we'll find out if that's going to come sooner rather than later. The knife round's going to get underway, and the night will begin. Best of 5. Winner of this moves on, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all it really comes down to. Trouble with single eliminations, there's no second chance. But with a best of 5, if you can't come out on top of a best of 5, it's not like a best of 1 where maybe something went wrong, you didn't get the perfect shots, or, well, and it just took out half your team for no apparent reason. Like, if that happens, fair enough. But with a best of 5, you're going to get a good balance of the teams. But the knife round's already underway, and obviously whoever grabs this will end up going CT. They're getting a little hardcore with the jumps across the boxes. But it looks like Penta will be coming out as the losers of this knife round. There's only one of them left, which is Crystal. And he's brought down, so AliGon will get the first round. Are they going to stay or swap? And they decide to swap. No surprise there. So AliGon, CT's first. And Penta, it's up to them. You asked it before, like, can you get into that B side? Successful before, will it happen tonight? And I love the fact that they're starting nice and quick. No delays.
And watch for the indication on the buy of what they're going to take. If they grab a couple smokes and flashes, anticipate that it's going to be an A push from the Ts. If they go for armor, I would anticipate B. So obviously we're sitting in the position where we have the luxury of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The CTs definitely do not.
I have the luxury of vision.
That's fair.
That's it.
So they have gone for 3 armor setup and only a few smokes and flashes. Actually, they could still go to A where they've got 2 smokes, 2 flashes. Looks like they're going to do that. So they'll spread it out. Crystal's going to sit all the way back, go for that execution by popping one out early. And into A main, actually, they're boosting. Interesting.
Yeah,
so I didn't think they'd go to
boost.
highway at all here. I didn't think that was even in the equation, but they're there, and they're going to force Huggin back
ramp.
into CT.
They can cut off AliGon perfectly here. Huggin has moved up to the truck, but they're going to back it out again and come back in through mid. So trying to fake it as though they're going up towards the ramp with the smoke, but not enough of a call came out from Delphan saying they were moving up. Hence Huggin stuck around mid. He will be dropped down. That's the first kill of our maps tonight. Well, next they've locked him in through that CT entrance to B side, and there's only one left at the back. It's all up to Cobra. Now, at least he'll be able to pick up one, but can he find more? He's getting pounded from both sides. They even come in for the knife kill, which means they'll get a revenge. Not just hoping for the extra cash here for the Ts, but it's a 2-on-2 situation, and let's make that 2-on-1. Dennis, off to a fun start already. We can actually see this from a second perspective. Nice little shot from Kaboom. But it's up to Delpan. One quick tag. Wow, so low. Crystal on only 7 life points. The flash does come in, and he's down the pit. They know where he is. They can see his head just at the tip. And Penta will take the first round here on the Ts. AliGon not in a great position.
Interesting strategy to take middle like that on pistol and end up back over at B. Obviously forcing rotations and dividing the map, but losing a lot of damage in the process.
This is the kind of thing we saw them doing like on Dust 2 last night. Like they flash up, they even reach into the mid, and it's like, no, we're going to pull back and then go to a different plan. Penta seem to be really great at running the dummy plays.
Big investment in this round for them, though. They're up against a scout. That's Cobra. Fortunately, they've already put it down.
They got checkers.
Because they did do damage to Troubley. He's the one with the SMG. The rest are on full AKs. This could be detrimental if they don't make the best of the entire round. Nice wall bang coming out from next into the backside of the checkers, and Dennis is going to get one. Crystal on another. And the pistols won't do anything. As Huggin will drop, only takes out one. They'll collect all 4 AKs. They're trying to shoot it to a teammate. They don't, so they lose an AK out of that.
I don't think it's going to be too bad, though, because Crystal still was able to pick up the 3 kills, so it's not a problem for him to buy. Obviously, not the greatest thing for money-wise, but either way, Penta with 4 AKs. Ready to rock and rumble again, and AliGon. 3rd round, all you got is basic pistols, no armor whatsoever. They're going for the full safe, but they've stacked mid very heavy. The Cobra's already in a little bit of trouble. He's taken early damage. He tried to be a little aggressive in towards the mid, but the flash push comes up to A. And already Penta, they don't have the side properly secured because on Catwalk, in fact, 2 of the players from AliGon tried to move up there. One of them he brought down, which is Delpan, and Cobra inside the smoke. He'll finally be brought down by Crystal, just running straight through the middle of it. And Kaboom knows where at least one of the Ts is, who's moving out through B. With one at A ramp and one back in just a little bit more shallower on A main. There goes your A ramp player. And they're just looking to hide by the looks of it. Yeah, the Ts have already won this round. Huggin's there for an exit frag, so is Kaboom. Kaboom at least knows where 1 is, but
Spidey's already spotted over to Kaboom.
Yeah. He'll have no problem getting picked up there. And Huggin, in fact, yep, he'll drop as well. Can actually kill off Kaboom. They're moving up to try and pick him up at the end of the round, and they will. So 3-0 in favor of Penta. We will have our first buy round. So 3 M4s as well as an AWP, and it looks like we're going to Galil to match.
And it's Delpan going straight for that AWP to start. No surprise at all. And they're actually going to go for the standards formation of a 2-1-2. The question is, how do they play this B with the double? They are going to boost the defense, so they will go for a little bit of mid control. Meanwhile, Delpan's got that AWP at A. They aren't there, though. They're grouping in the mid garage. They're going to try and
in a good spot.
Smoke themselves out, but this is a nice crossfire setup for the CTs. Zex has already spotted the player inside the vents, though, so Cobra can't do anything else, but...
Next. He moved beautifully up, taking out the fence, moving on forward, taking out white boxes, going from one to the next, cleaning up the mid for Penta, and that leaves only 2 survivors here for AliGon. And Dennis, he's already managed to breach up, just going sneaky beaky behind Kaboom.
That was great awareness from Penta coming through because they did have that crossfire
last spotted
established, but they were so quick getting out on that first pop flash that the player in Vent was a little bit preemptive and fired away a little bit too soon, gave away his position, and then that boosted player got spotted by Nex, who came in from the backside, keeping his back to the wall. Finally, AliGon's going to get one. Xylos gets one, makes it 2 now on Nex, excuse me. But they've got the bomb down all the way over at A. Ow, wow, he may actually go ahead and pick down all the rest. This will hurt their economy, but he's not going to get this round. 10 HP, it's going to go the way of Penta, so 4-0.
And so Penta realized they had the advantage, hence they're hunting this one. They want to make sure that AliGon have no weapons to hold Anthony. Troubly, he doesn't even get him, so it makes a 4-for at the end of the round. So good cash, really good cash, but at the same time, it's not enough for AliGon to really mount any solid defense. They just hold on to an M4 and potentially go for a second buy, but they're not going to do so. They just hold the M4, pistols, AliGon. He'll be picking up AliGon. You know what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
You know what I'm trying to say.
So we've seen on this map that an AWP M4 with pistol combo can be perfect. But they've only got one M4 to work with, so they won't be able to find that early pick. They're going to play that M4 and Xylos alone at B and then try and stack the A site. Huggins going to rotate back across because he realizes they haven't showed up at A, and they actually got a little bit aggressive and found some information. As we can see, Cobra is pushing inside A main, but they left mid open, and that's exactly where Penta's gone. Yeah,
they've already got 4 over the hill, and Cobra is coming up behind him very, very slowly through the back of the garage. The chance of him getting a pick with this is rather low, especially as Troubly, he feels he's coming out. There's actually 2 back there. Dance has already managed to find an extra breach, taking out Kaboom, and the A side is completely open. Troubly will run up the A ramp. They're still not sure about it. That's why they're being a little bit more defensive while moving up. And Delpan is finally moving in through garage, but Crystal, hiding behind the sandbags, he's not going to get a clean shot at this, and Troubly makes sure that plant is exposed as possible. Spidey, there we go. Easy shutdown over on Xylo. And that's the last player left alive, Delpan in long A. He can hear the spray coming out as we do jump on board with him now. And Dennis is the man in front of him. Normally the over-aggressive player of Penta, and he gets shut down because of it. But they know where he is. The plant's going to go anyway. It just means an AK save for Delpan. But it's 5 rounds to 0 going to go the way of Penta at the conclusion of this.
I mean, Penta's just looking excellent on their executions, and we talked about AliGon, how most of their success came on the CT side. Of course, they were up against a lackluster Dignitas without their leader in Fetish, and they couldn't get anything going on the attack. So this doesn't look good because AliGon, in my opinion, hasn't shown much T-sided rounds either. They squeaked out just a few on entry kills, and on pistols actually is where they've got their early rounds. They've always won that T-side pistol last night when we saw them.
AliGon has to win this. They've just bought double ops. So they're going to try and defend. Already Cobra moving into a very aggressive position, looking down towards Toxic to make sure no one comes to B, while Kaboom, this time he'll hold mid. Penta, that's the first time their boost box has failed. And you've already got AliGon very aggressively at the front. Next, trying to spray and pray through the wall. Getting a little bit of tag on the CT defender. As the AWP is having a peek as well. But Dennis unable to get the pick. He's got a lot of picks from harder situations. The nade also flying over his head, while Speedy, he's taking checkers.
This is the questionable part. He's taking checkers, but his team hasn't gone around to join him, and he's going to drop for free. Cobra doesn't even have to worry about an answer kill. Meanwhile, mid's still raging on. Rather confusingly, they're just bashing their head against the wall there. Penta's actually going to lose this one. That's the first time they haven't quite been swift on their execution, because Speedy was, like you said, all the way inside checker. He baited out Cobra to take that shot. All he needed was a second player, and they had the B site.
Hey, instead, Penta, they almost put the blinkers on. It's like, we want to take mid and then breach through vent. But as you were saying, when you have checkers, you don't have to worry about breaching through the vent. You just bring him to come and get him through Toxic. Maybe they might have been worried about where that last defender player was. They may have been concerned about that. But you already knew there was 2, potentially 3 players from the CTs battling up in mid against you. So, yeah. Process of elimination, there's only 1 probably deeper on the B side. Either way, we're going to see Penta still with cash, 4 AKs, 1 AWP up against the 2 AWPs, AK M4s. And Penta playing a lot more passive this time around. They're not just trying to breach in through mid. They're looking for the picks, but the boxes isn't where they're going to find the boost jump. They're not also moving up towards the A. They're not looking into A main. There's only Delpan sitting very, very deep back inside that A site.
He does have that AWP there, so he'll be able to hold off. Their best bet to go against him would be through long with a flashbang to overwhelm him quickly, but he'll have a rotation from Highway. Huggins there.
Good smoke's coming into B, but you've got two very close on the side. First pickup's going to be there. That's going to be Kaboom down the mid. Looking towards the white box. It's the right place for Crystal to be looking, but he's only got 6 life points. He doesn't want to end himself into a bit of a shooting fest. The 2 CTs drop. Crystal moving very quick to the B, and then moving over to where the CTs had the bigger numbers. The nades flying out as well, as maybe Xylo can hold from the back. No, he can't. He'll be shut down. The bomb plant will drop, and there's only Delpan left to clutch this for him, but it's a one-on-one situation. Orp on AK. He's looking into the side. He saw him run away. And Troubly, he slow-walked it. He must have thought Delpan was going to come back up through mid or through garage and go for a flank. He was not looking anywhere near heaven on the entry from CT.
And now they've got a chance to put some rounds together. Troubly's got $6,000, as does Nex have 46, but they won't be able to force out off that just enough. So the momentum's shifting back the way of AliGon, and it couldn't have come a moment too soon. They need to string these rounds together, but again, they're hurting as well, where they lost so many people. They will be able to get all the guns out required. Double op setup again, but
they keep burning a lot of their money every single time they buy that double op. They put themselves at risk if they lose it. Obviously, Penta are on a bit more of an eco, as they are just running Tech 9s.
I mean, the other thing with going with the double op is they're both buying a heavy amount of grenades. Delpan did get to use them all last round, so good investment, but if he dies with those on his belt still, it's not going to pay off. Good flash through by Huggin, but watch out, they're going to rush the door. He's fallen back into the site. That smoke's going to cover him and let him get back a little bit further. There's another one for him, so good positional play by him as he picks up a third. That smoke to cover off the backside of truck works to his advantage, actually. And an easy 3K inside the site. Good hold. There it is against the pistols, but now we'll go back to guns on the T side. And they don't have to reinvest hardly anything, by the way, on the CTs, because they didn't even counter flash or nade.
Huggin doubled his kill count with just that one round. As you were saying, the smoke was working for him beautifully. Okay, Troubly, that's a teammate you're tagging up. Only did 8 points of damage, but that's to your AWP, who's going to try and go for the pick. Kaboom not looking too healthy there, as Huggin also tries to spam up the mid. They're doing a semi-boost at the back. But Penta holding off as the spray continues. But no one from AliGon has moved up through mid. Huggin sitting at sandbags. You've still got Kaboom a little bit further up on the ramp. As he tries to throw the fishing nade. It's pretty damn close, but not enough damage to get a kill. They're now going to boost up. Penta did this 2 rounds ago, trying to go for that slow boost over boxes. You get the first pick and then breach in. Huggin's the only one really left there inside the mid.
That smoke gap, though, Dennis just shot right through it.
Crystal, look again. Look to your right. Look to your right. Huggin. He picks up one, protects himself inside the boxes. Now the blind flash. And then moves out. One down into cubby. That's Dennis. Albert get the pick. He'll know another will move over to white boxes. Actually, no, they won't. Delpan as well as Kaboom moves shallower onto the A side. And that opens up the B with the death of Cobra. Which means this time there will be a plant. But will there be a retake again by Delpan?
That's such a hard spot to play at those sandbags in mid where Huggin plays, because once you're spotted, you're trapped in there. So they'll have to save again. They're going to try and keep Delpan on with this AWP, but 6 rounds already going the ways of the terrorists right now for Penta. And like I said, it's been AliGon that's been having most of their success CT side. This does not look good. It's early yet, but it does not look good. This bomb's going to detonate. And again, they won't have to reinvest a whole lot on the T side this time, because aside from the smokes and scarce flashes they used, all 4 are going to stay up with those AKs, and they got that op on Dennis as well, which they picked up from Cobra, who dropped that down.
Yeah. AliGon will still be able to buy up normal M4s and such. Like, there's still enough money on the players that are dead, so it's still a gun round for both sides. But they're not able to run their double AWP they were trying to do before, so you can't just play the range game up against Penta. And they're going to rely a lot more now on that mid hold from Huggin. He was able to do it quite nicely. That's why they were spraying and praying through those walls, looking for just a hold. So the Penta didn't just breach in towards the mid, running out of the garage and just taking everything. So they're just trying to stop Penta from playing their style of round. But Penta, they're happy to be passive again. This time you got Crystal a long way out over a Toxic with that AWP. A little bit of spam coming out here from Xylon. And he's forced back.
The good counter smoke, though, to hold off that corner, so there wasn't that ability to get that quick op shot around the corner, because that peek does favor the terrorists when you come around that initial corner, even with the quick drop position. But this is the first time they've gone for B. They're not really trying to exploit map positioning, though. They haven't even worked in toward checkers. Finally, Nex is getting slightly aggressive as Huggins still holding off in this mid right now. But that second smoke, again, just slows them down even more. They've still got 50 seconds to work with, but they haven't found room. Finally, Dennis gets mid. Finally, they get past Huggins. Now they've got Vent. Now they'll go. Cobra's going to be stuck back in checker room.
He's low on life, too. It's not going to take long to bring him down once they find him, and they are checking it. There he goes. The Molotov, a little bit late, but maybe Xylon is sitting up high, and there's number one. He can't see number two. The smoke is nicely covered. Crystal, oh no! Oh, that's a troublesome situation. He brought down Troubly coming out through the vents, and the T's get crushed. They couldn't breach through. Miscommunication. And Penta, it looked like a good breach. And then something hit the fan. Let's see that again. That's orange. That's T. That's your own teammate. But at least it was a good shot.
It was a great shot. Nice up close, good awareness, except horrible awareness at the same time. It was a reasonable thought. Chances are you're going to be flanked, except for that your teammate probably should have told you he was the one coming through. So communication malfunction. They're going to go back to this mid boost, try and breach in this way, as Crystal is going to be the one that's already pushed past this smoke over toward the vent side. I thought that was going to go well for them at B that time. I really did.
Speedy's looking for the cross, with Nex to pick up one, and they take the ramp. This time Penta doing a better job when they don't have weapons, as they're able to secure up through that A ramp area. Trip flashes coming out. There is the flank coming in. His rotation, from Cobra. Xylo's already up there. Delpan going to be picked up too with a nice little deep nade. But with the attack from Truck, and that's the round. Penta, seriously, they should just stop buying weapons. They're more effective.
So 7 now. I mean, yeah, it was unfortunate they threw that round away. We'll see if it comes back to bite them based on that team kill and the lack of proper sight hold. But like I say, they've already got 7.
Delpan. I know he had a crap ton of money, hence he's doing this, but
we're going for the hero play.
Yeah,
I mean, this is basically what happened on Inferno. The rest of them could have held pistols last night and he would have done it, but this map doesn't favor that. It's not as linear. You don't have the same choke points.
The downside for him, too, is all he's going to have is Crystal. Huggins very aggressive up through the mid, and Crystal's already going to stop him. Delpan out of pickup next. He knows there's still one there. Tries to bang through the wall as the flashes, the nades, whatever else, and now the extra nade is Crystal moving up. If he can bring down Delpan, they shut down the AWP, and then it's only these pistols moving up through the boost on vents. It is scouted out, however. Sitting on the other side of that is Crystal, while Spitty moving up to the spools. He's still trying to battle up against this damn AWP. And finally, Xylo is out through the vents. So CT have some level of presence in mid, but they're losing players left, right, and center. Delpan takes out Crystal. He needs more of these big hero hits, as he's the last player left alive. And he's on the run. There goes the AWP. Can they reach it in time? Speedy, the answer is yes.
Yep, got there just in time, so
8-4. We've only got a couple of rounds left, and Penta are looking fantastic on T's. But AliGon, they don't seem to be able to hold that mid again. Like,
it's interesting because they have all the best intentions. Even the round where they pushed up, Penta just was completely aware of it when they boosted over. I mean, the smokes have been slightly lackluster. That one's going to cover off the door correctly in mid that time, but they've had slight gaps. They've been pushing interestingly in toward the sandbags. Like I said, Huggins been playing there. Nice shot, Delpan. Finally, we're going to start things off correctly for him, as he has been slightly quiet. Only 6 kills.
The breach.
Speedy, though, already found Cobra, and into A they go. They're already around the backside of the site, and Speedy's not done. He's going to get triple already. Xylos and Kaboom drop. Delpan's going to have to do it the hard way, coming around from highway, and they've smoked off that one shot he might have had back toward quad. So it's Huggin coming from truck side that's going to have to do it instead. He's already got one. Immediately countered. Troubly through the smoke, but the bomb's not down. Finally, they're going for that plant, and Delpan's changed his angle. He's already spotted one on catwalk. Shots fired back at him in return, but he's still looking for it. There it is, down to one-on-one. And Nex is lurking in behind this red.
He is going to stay so close in that bomb. Delpan, he's going to try and also find some height, some distance. Looking to get the first tag off. Unable to connect, though. This is still 100+ armor. So he's looking for the head, and he can't. He doesn't need it. He just takes out Nex, and there is your hero play, Delpan. He tried in the previous round, buying up the AWP, while the rest of his teammates had nothing. And this time around, he gets a 3-for.
I mean, that's what you need from him. We said it was going to come down to how well he could play. He got 3 kills that round. He's now up to 8. It's actually been Xylos on the A site that's gotten most of the kills on the entry.
I'm surprised Penta played it as they did, though. Like they seem to get a little bit loose in their hold at that last point. Just giving the space for Delpan to just pick them off one by one, so there's no just counter frag that comes in.
Huggin in mid, I just don't know that I agree with it. He's up close again, but he fired away. They already know he's there. They spammed him down to 74. He'll re-smoke that off, and now he'll head over to B. This could work for him because he'll be late to B, but he'll be able to pop out just as they come into checkers, and that's what he's looking to do, but they've already figured out that he's there.
And of course, they lost the one in checkers. At least Crystal with one on the range. They're feeling there's more up over on Heaven, but the nades finally coming in from Delpan. Shuts down Nick. He only had 2 live points, so it's a pretty easy kill. As the fire, Crystal is so aggressive, but he has the bomb and he'll get it down. Putting down a secondary smoke as well. They do still have Delpan up inside of Heaven. As the flank begins, one through vents, one going a long way back through garage, and Crystal jumps up. Delpan's going to drop. So the push is only going to come from the CT side of the map. And Kaboom's not sure about this, but with the peak coming out from Troubley, it's going to open it up into a 2-on-2 situation. Dennis is still over at checkers, and he's also having a peek, seeing the weapon being thrown. He 100% knows he's there. Knife runs it in. Dennis! He knows he's running out of time with the bomb about to blow up, but Crystal can now hold onto the AWP, back it up. So Penta will hold the AWP. They'll go 9 rounds to 5. And we'll look with the advantage to go into a 10-5 advantage at the end of the half.
Yeah, 10-5-9-6 is good on Cash, right? Yeah, except when you're on the opposite side.
Yeah, it's great if you're CTs. But right now, man, like even for this last round, what have you got? You got 1 AK and a couple of pistols with armor. Only 3 of them have head protection.
And like I say, the only map that Delpan can truly play into, we gave them some consideration on Cash, but it's Inferno with that. Oh, they're going to push right through this smoke and mid, but it's in... Kaboom's got the first, so I'll come back to my thought because I didn't think they were going to go directly through that. Xylos has another. Finally, they've got a round going their way because, again, with pistols, they're more effective. Fearless with the pistols, and that 1 AK is doing enough damage, but Speedy eventually puts him down.
It was the pistols as you go through that choke point, and initially those bullets, they weren't even meant for him.
We got a disconnect on the Penta side as well. I'm not sure who that is.
Well, it means the Nex is the only one left alive. He's just making a run for the A site. But
Dennis.
Delpan's just sitting there. He's about to get sandwiched in from the truck as well, and Delpan, with just 1 deagle shot, will take the kill.
So 9-6 half, like I say, but not on the sides you'd expect. They're going to go ahead and pause this as well because Dennis has not rejoined into the server yet, so we'll have a brief break.
So what do you think? 6-9 at the end?
Again, this could go, if Delpan's not on, yes, he had that 1 great round, but overall he's not finding that early pick and he's not giving them the map control that they need. The rounds he got the early pick, they actually either contended very closely or won. Hence that 3K. Yes, it came down to a 1-on-1, but he got the early pick in that one to start things off and force the T's to get over into A. As we move forward in these maps, Dust, yes, you can pug it a little more. Execution a little less important because of the openness and vast space at A and the tight confinement at B. Really all you're looking for is a smoke to mid. The hard part is if he's not finding these shots, if he's not making that space work for him, Inferno's their only hope in that regard, and if he's not on, it's off too. So this could go 3 for Penta.
See, I would probably put it down to the fact that Delpan just was... he wasn't as dynamic as we saw him on Inferno. You had instead... who was it? It was Huggin. Huggin was always pushing up towards the mid.
And he was
the one holding it, and he was always at the front. He was always at the front unless they felt like there was a big jump coming, which was then at sandbags. So the control wasn't fully there, and then they just had the floater onside the A ramp. So Delpan was more looking for the pick coming in through A main, which I don't think Penta even utilized.
No, they didn't. They actually won that game in mid, really. They did. Yeah. They won that half in mid. I shouldn't say game yet. They won that half in mid. And again, I don't know that I agree with Huggins' aggressive play there. Yes, it can work. Yes, there are teams that utilize that, not round after round. And also, when you're losing in that regard, and every time they're taking you over, play passive. Adapt your defense. It's him that's making the strat calls. By the way, I also want to go back. It sounds like we're calling out Delpan. We're not meaning to.
No.
He's still playing good. The point is, with this squad right now, he has to play lights out for them to even have a chance.
Look at him
it's
run.
Kenny S and Titan all over again.
We're in a pistol round right now, and well, Troubley, they just push so heavily up. Penta are wanting to start this one with one hell of a bang. It's a 1-1 trade-off. They ran to the Tech 9, hence Troubley didn't come out on top. And Crystal moves in, taking out Cobra from up inside the fence, but the plant went down on A anyway. A Penta, they're trying to play this as a full squad. They move together, they always get the counter kills, and Dennis, if you can get this, we're now into a 4-on-2 situation. Breach, one man dies, someone has to die for that kill. AliGon, good luck in the defense. Here they come. Jumping up high. It's really good defense so far. Delpan with 2. There's only one CT left alive. Looking at the front of A main, and he's shut down Delpan. Taking a 3 for. I know we put pressure on him.
He responded.
He did. He really did.
So now they've got a chance to tie this up. They should be able to get these 3 rounds straight out. And actually, Huggin's going to go back to a Mac 10, which I've seen more this week than in the last 2 years, I think. It's excellent. But now they've got this chance, and this is what I said before on Cash. They actually had their success in the game against Dignitas based on an early start with this pistol. So they're giving themselves a chance. We'll have to see how Penta's defense holds up because they were very strong last night on the D side as well.
I'm surprised Penta did what they did during that round. It seemed a little odd. Because they committed so many to B. I'm not saying it's odd to try and do the push out, but it's just the way they tried to retake. It seemed very scrambled. Like they had to run from all the way to the B side over towards the A side. How quick were you really going to get there? Are we too strapped for time kind of thing? Either way, they're holding the defense nicely with that scout from Crystal, moving between both mid and now over towards the B side. But the push is going to come over through A main. And Speedy sitting in very, very close. Takes 1, can't get the 3rd, but did take the 2nd, which was Cobra.
But again, look how far these rotations are. Obviously, it's a pistol round for them, and Crystal's going to sit behind. But Dennis is giving them a chance, and now he's got to get there because they've got the man advantage, and Crystal's finally arriving from B.
That A ramp push from Delpan came a little bit too late. Kaboom is the last man left alive. He just took a bit of a tag as he tries to play from the other side of Forklift with the AK up against the pistols, but cannot do it. So 1 AK into the hands of Crystal, as well as next picks the one that was coming up through A ramp. And here's that play from Speedy, shutting down the A main and just giving the number advantage here to Penta. That was the big play. Even a little bit of extra chip damage to the 3rd. And Speedy, okay, watch this man, because he just picked up the P90 with armor and he's rushing down mid. So more than likely, there's going to be a bit of a fast breach into garage.
Speedy Gonzalez next, though. Look at him pushing up heavy at B, trying to flash himself out, and they're all there, but that's aggressive.
That's the info. That's the info Speedy needs. He's going to come from behind right now. He's going to tear them apart. No, he doesn't. Delpan, he might have heard him coming. The molly will still drop, and right now, AliGon, they can't breach in. The fire is blocking them. They're down to 2 players. The push coming up, again Penta, they refuse to be defensive. They want to be on the front foot.
Next overstayed is welcome as Penta's going to clean that up, but a lot of damage dealt to them in the process. Next overstayed is welcome. Yes, he went for the information. He went for that early peek as we take a look at Trouble. He's excellent work with the pistol.
That was the stall.
If you're going to go out that far, you either need to have someone to support you after that flash goes off or fall back immediately after that initial pick, especially when you're up against pistols and you then dropped off that M4 pretty much for free. I mean, you got 1 kill for it, but now they've got something to work with, and they've got a man down at B, but now they're going to rush mid, so AliGon going full aggressive on
Chris loves the AK. They're all blind. They're blind as bats right now. With the extra nades flying out too, it's a disaster for AliGon in mid. They just tried to go YOLO, but it got called out. They didn't get the initial frag. Crystal will still drop, but once that information came in, all of Penta just converged.
Just swarms. Yeah. I mean, information's fine. Playing aggressive is fine, but you have to be calculated about it. If you're giving away guns and you're dropping a man down at a site that takes a bit of time to rotate to, it can catch you out. We'll go back to full guns here. Delpan's going to have his AWP, and the rest are on rifles all across the board. In fact, the other 9. Next has that 1 AK they've managed to salvage, but smokes off at mid. Not a lot of presence there. A lot more passive from AliGon. Not quite what we saw from Penta trying to contest that.
And Huggin's trying to make a little bit of noise over on A. Forcing the rotation must be what he's hoping for, but Speedy is not going for it. In fact, Dennis was boosted up on top of the box too. So no aggressive play from him tonight. He's going to have to sit up from the box and wait for the push out from Huggin, but it's not going to come. Crystal, a little bit of a tag. He'll back up into a more defensive position. In fact, yeah, he's just going to sub positions. So Speedy holds the mid. In fact, will kill off the mid with Kaboom dropping. They're still wondering where these next players are meant to be coming up from AliGon because they haven't made any kind of breach yet. The bomb has even dropped to the southern part of Garage in that connector area. So they're waiting for Delpan to make a play, but the two CTs are sitting practically on top of each other inside of B. And there's no way to go into A. But it's up to Hagen. With the smoke there, maybe he can find Dennis up on the right. It'll probably just end up being a tray kill. He's checking it. And there's your first shot, and he'll just back out.
Well, the thing is, they've got some room to work with at B. They're finally going to go utilize it.
They've got no time. It's 16 seconds on the clock, and they're going to still breach in and get that plant down. Next in trouble. The flash will be there. Cobra, where's the extra support? Delpan picks up one. They need to get this plant down, but there's one still on the side. Next, he's bought enough time. 5 seconds. They got no more time to plant. He takes 3. He can't get the 4th, and all the CTs need to do is survive. They decide to go for the kill. Cobra will drop.
Very efficient play by Nex, and that had to be from him because, yes, they didn't have a lot of time. They were actually in position to put that bomb down had he not taken down the planter. And, I mean, process of elimination, there's that much time left. You know they're not at A. They had enough information to say that they aren't grouping with a bomb at A. They should have started to funnel the offense a little bit sooner, and specifically Speedy, who came out of Z and faded off the truck side. If he had to come to B a little bit sooner, they may not have even got in, but in the end, Nex bails them out. Crystal's going to get your first shot of this round. Delpan down. It was on a pistol, so not able to take that off battle directly, but
Dennis.
Every time he's down, you have to think it's trouble.
They can't breach up through long A. They've just lost 2 on long A while trying to breach in through A main. So Hagen is trapped. In fact, Dennis now going to make it a 3-for, looking for the 4th, able to claim it. Will he? No, actually, no, sorry, just the 3rd. Just the 3rd. Now he'll get the 4th. But Dennis really just stopped Penta just then. They try to push in through long A. They lose their 2, and then A main has to stop. Because without that breach coming in from the side as well, they've only got 1 point of entry, and they're going to get spammed down. Because they were not being quiet about it all. And now you're actually able to run. Look, actually, look at him switch. So the AWP is now into the hands of Dennis instead. I actually like how Penta do that. It's not just one main AWP the entire time. They mix it up a little bit. Very difficult to predict, but he's watching A main. And he can see 1, and then back it up. No need to get picked off by the 2nd, even though Kaboom had a pick off Speedy, leaving Dennis as the last defender deep on the site.
They went for this double boost over at B to see through the skylight as well, and that means their rotations are late, so if AliGon can find a break and an entry, they could have this site, but they're not doing it. They're scared to come out from A main because these smokes are covering off, and Crystal's in the corner. This should be an easy 1 for him at least. He'll fall back, still has a chance to make it 2. They'll focus tunnelly onto him. Put on the blinders and forget the corners, but fortunately no one else in the site, so they might still have a chance to breach through, and there it is. There's the shot on Crystal, but Troubly's arrived. He's already taken down Delpan, so we're into a 1-on-1. Bomb's still up. It's already 3 down for Kaboom. It's going to have to be 4 in the end.
Troubly's really lucky he wasn't pushed up any further. Kaboom's going for the kill. That's all he wants at the moment. And he can't find the right line. Troubly just spamming it up. As now there will be just a quick nade off target. Kaboom. He's got the plant, 30 seconds to go, and he's going to actually commit properly. So the plant will drop. Troubly looking to the side. Kaboom going the other direction. He's up high, and he gets the kill. So CTs will take their 15th round now. And Penta looking insanely solid. He's just taking the time to find the AWP. But Penta are looking fantastic on this first map.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they showed off a lot of skill, a lot of aggression at middle. Ultimately, AliGon didn't really adapt to the style they were throwing at them. And then they've just kept that momentum going in this half. So pistol, immediate eco, and it's been a train since then. We're on match point. Map 1, best of 5. Still a long way to go. AliGon's going to have to wake up. Their frag distribution, that said, though, isn't that terrible. Delpan's at 18. The highest for Penta's 22. The lowest for Penta's 10. Coincidentally, it is the same on the AliGon side as well.
The only difference is one team is holding their line and one team can't seem to find the breach. Hagen able to actually find that. Finally, he gets down Dennis, but we're still looking at a 2-2 trade-off. Kaboom catching out the aggressive Speedy who was pushing up through Garage. So it's a 2 defense now from Penta, which means they've only got 1 on either side. AliGon just have to commit to one of these sides. Crystal looking to try and even up the odds, and he's going to. Delpan being dropped. And with that, the B plant is still coming in. AliGon are going to commit to this. But the damage over on Crystal is not really that high. And he moves up very aggressively. 22 life points and 100 life points is all that's left here for the AliGon players. And Troubly, he's going to make the way over. Moving very quick. Hagen watching up towards Heaven as well as in through the front connection. Through the front entry. Already taking a nade. Troubly There's fire as well. He takes one. Can he look for the second? Looking the wrong direction. Still looking the wrong direction. And gets done from behind. And that is going to give a round to AliGon.
And Huggen was very low HP, so we got lucky that he checked checkers rather than inside the site.
You would expect him to be checkers, though. Like, it will be a better crossfire.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the fact is, he didn't have the information because he was so late getting there that they were already inside the site. He didn't see them cross over, and I don't even think there was a death cam that was still would have been down in that position to let him know. So you're right. He definitely would check toward the checker room.
Dennis with the aggressive AWP play over on B. Crystal getting a little bit spammed up. He knows they're over. He knows that mid has been taken. So they have to move someone else down to that A ramp, and that's why Speedy's down. Already at the white boxes, Delpen is the man who's so aggressive. Can he shot through the boxes? He'll at least take out one. Looks for the second, claims him as well. But through the wall is going to be where that fire comes, and that'll be troubly. So 3-on-3 situation. Dennis still with that AWP. Moving himself back over. The smoke goes down. Goes for the blind shot. Can't get it. I think he saw for a moment one over at the forklift, but the flash, Dennis is completely blind. But over on the wall, kaboom. Needs to finish him off. Able to do so before that flash wears off, and the plant does drop. Up through catwalk now. Last player for CT, or nope. He's in through A main. In fact, it's Nex. That was trouble. He was going to attempt the catwalk, and Nex can't go for this. All he can attempt to do is get some exit frags. And that'll be good enough for him. Because the CTs, they're on eco. They're on eco next round. Unless Nex can completely clutch this and just end the game now.
Yeah, not likely.
Yeah, not
enough,
with the Galil.
Not enough time to do it effectively. He'll still look for one more. He'll get it as well.
Where's the third? He's running away.
And they're both going to run away and hide, so AliGon are getting some T rounds. That's encouraging moving forward. But again, last night, the success they had, this is their map choice. This is one of the two maps they won last night, Inferno being the other. They've also selected that. We'll play it third. But the success they got came from a lacking Dignitas roster who really didn't have any offense. They didn't take any map control. Tonight, it was the complete opposite. AliGon took advantage of that mid, and they didn't... Penta took advantage of that mid. AliGon didn't adapt. They didn't do anything to change. So now that we're seeing them get contested, these flashes, though, Penta trying to come through. Not on the first one, but Huggen responds.
It seems to be what Penta love to do. They don't want to just sit back and play this passive. They want to keep running him through smokes into aggressive areas and catch these T's off guard. No passive play with pistols, waiting for choke points or a little bit of funnel points. That's it. Dennis up again. Sees one through the smoke. Hell of a lot of damage. But he cannot get the kill. Delpan picks up one in mid. And Dennis at 12 life points. And Speedy's not... well, Speedy's fully healthy as well. But they're so far away from the rest of AliGon. They won't catch up to him. But they do manage to find one weapon. It's the AK of one of the attackers.
Interesting that they're going to leave it on Dennis and not throw it to Speedy, who has more HP. But he's going to run away all the way to the back, over by T-spawn, regardless.
It's just a full save. They'll count out the timer.
I mean, the way they're playing it,
maybe that's the reason too.
Speedy did pick up the Galil, but he's got more HP to try and find those exit kills. So that...
Yeah. And if he does die, they only lose the Galil, they don't lose the AK. Yeah, they're not even going to be found. No exit frags, no joy. So 15-10. AliGon keep themselves in it, but remember that was still an eco coming out from Penta. So next round, they're gonna have the money. They already have two of the guns, but they got some decent cash for a buy. No AWPs this time around. Actually, I take it back. Crystal is going to buy one, but he is a glass cannon with that AWP. Surprised they didn't just switch that over with Dennis, who's already got the armor. But we'll see if Crystal can get that pick in mid. They're already going to boost themselves up. Again, AliGon really preferring to do that. Don't have to expose themselves too far. There's Troubly. He's so close. Sitting on that smoke in front of Garage while Crystal watches the jump box.
There's a bit of a gap in that smoke. The Delpan's trying to get some information through, but no one's up close. Dennis, though, look at him. Already caught out toward blue and gets this kill onto Huggen. Again, he's being aggressive. We saw him do it on Cash. On Dust. We saw him last night. We talked about that. Look at him again.
You like to exploit that, the A-long doors as well. Delpan's finally going to get one. Of course, though, he'll get picked up by the AWP of Penta. Crystal able to do so. Forced out because of the fire and the flames. There's Dennis. But they still hold the T's. They're going to boost over the boxes now in mid. Troubley's the one watching from vents. And Kaboom will have the advantage for that, unless Troubley is going to be looking. He's sitting in deep. He peeks for a little bit. And yeah, it looks like Kaboom saw it. Just throws the nade in, cleans the vent up. And we're into a 3-on-3 situation. A little bit of a fly nade, no real damage. And hiding in deep next on 93. He's still in the middle of this smoke, and Kaboom going to move up on the left. Needs that crossfire. He's just guessing into there. But he does find next. Dennis in close. He's got a small gap. Able to capitalize. So Kaboom will drop, and it's a 2-on-2 situation. Crystal needs that opening frag. They need the advantage to come. One of the back boxes is the one he really wants to get. Xylo, he's out further, and it'll be the T's just to hold it. So
AliGon looks much, much better now. They look like they're playing much more coordinated as a team, holding angles together. Great post-plant positioning there. Great picks to start their entry into B, and I mean this is what they needed on the CT side. Now they're getting it. So Penta's not out of the woods yet. It's an elusive match point. They can't quite get there. And they'll only have a scout to work with for Speedy. They're going to smoke off mid just in the nick of time, and actually did some damage with that scout. But Dennis again pushing at door. They have to be ready for this at this point. That's 2 in a row for him in that position. And
he just gets a quick pick, grabs the AK, falls back, and Penta have weapons.
And
not
I mean,
great
this
weapons,
also
but they're
forces Huggin to sit back and watch that to make sure he's not pushing, which means that's him out of a position that they're going to try and exploit elsewhere. So it ties up their hands for a little bit longer, buys the CTs more time.
With that door open on A, already looking for the first tag. The push tries to come up. Huggin's already pretty low. While next, the weapons just keep rolling in. He doesn't want to go too far out to pick it up. I think Troubley's also called. He's got one over on top of him, which he does do so. Up on top of that pit, now back down into it. But it's Cobra who comes in, finishes up Troubley, but he still did some chip damage. And we've got 3 injured T's to defend up against Penta, who are now coming for the retake. Dennis, he's been so good at breaching. This time he'll just drop from the heaven into hell. And Kaboom's going to try and hold on that main entrance from CT. Just tossing out the molly. And they're already bailing out. Next is getting out. Speedy. He's watching up from heaven. But they're not going to look to try and take this. Next has the AWP. Speedy as the scout. They want to hold on to these weapons. Maybe not the scout so much. In fact, that's the reason why Speedy probably switched it for the AK now. And he'll drop anyway. But naught for Penta. And a buy round next for them too.
And a full money bonus now that's switched back the other direction because it's onto the CTs.
Yeah, they're looking great.
So they'll have a little bit more to work with. The buyout into nades. Troubley's already down to 0. Fully invested into the round. 4 nades and an M4. Dennis is going to go to your AWP this time.
Which means we're looking at a, well, actually, he's going for a mid pick. When he's taken that AWP before, he's looked for the B push, and there he goes, bringing down Cobra, doing it from the wide box. And Delpan looking for some kind of revenge over on B, but it's not going to be granted. Penta just have to hold the advantage for now. They still only need 1 round to finish the job.
Look at this push, though. They're going to go for the reverse boost. Now that they killed the one player off a boost, they're going to go ahead. Dennis is going to put Crystal up and over, so they might come around behind and flank out the terrorists. He'll sit tight just for a second and wait for a call on which way he should head or whether or not it's going to be effective.
He's got Delpan moving towards him. Oh, he didn't move out, so he's going to stay inside. But I doubt that AliGon are going to be looking up to the right when they move in through mid.
Oh, and this trajectory of that Molotov we were about to see thrown is going to give away exactly where he is. So Crystal's going to jump over, as we can see on X-Ray.
He should stay. He should really stay. But no, he has gone down. Making a lot of noise coming around the back, though. But Kaboom is not reacting to it. Maybe you can't hear him. It's Spray coming down the mid. Speedy just being forced back a little bit more. They're running out of time. Dennis von Hagen, Delpan to take out Speedy. Trading McTrade trade, 30 seconds on the clock, and there is Crystal. Makes him look behind, and he finishes the round.
So smart by him to just sit back. He waited, he found out exactly where they were when that Molotov went over. He tried to get that initial pick. It actually works out better that he didn't, because then he just sat back and let them come into the position. He was already... he was there for 10 seconds just sitting, waiting patiently for them to come back around and go through that connector. So great play by him. Took them a little bit longer to get there than I would have thought. I didn't actually think AliGon was going to get that 5-round spread that they did get. That's encouraging moving forward, and especially under Dust 2.
The only thing I'm going to feel like for Penta, I was slightly disappointed they couldn't wrap it up nice and quick, but I think that's also because they play the high risk, high reward style of strats.
Oh,
so I think it can really snap them in the butt very quickly. But something which AliGon have to look for is Dennis. Like, we already flagged him yesterday with his great play in mid, and even if he doesn't sit at the top, which he did in this map, but he's still 28-4-16 at the end of the map, he makes such a big impact because you're always guessing your flank. And
I mean, if he gets those, not only when he gets aggressive and find those early kills, does it give him, one-man advantage, it also gets you that information because he's further beyond the line of sort of that dividing point, the choke points. He's pushed through them. So,
like he did twice in this CT side, you run in, you grab the weapon, and you jump back. It's like, wait, I was supposed to be on eco, but my early pistol hit. I grab it, and I'm able to get back out again. There's no punish kill.
Yeah, no, there's not. They weren't trading those out. You've got to be able to trade those. And to go back as well to something that you said, that Penta's aggression could either, works really well, or it could catch them out and they could get bit in the ass for it. AliGon needs to read that. And they started to on this T side. That's how they got those rounds. But they didn't do it at all, CT. If they can do that on their defense, we might have a better chance. So we'll take a little break. We'll come back for map number 2.
Yep.
And see how it all goes down.
See you soon. And there's only one left at the back. It's all up to Cobra. Now, at least he'll be able to pick up one.